Last night's numbers tell the story. Residents, business owners and community leaders don't want Bullaroo's main thoroughfare cut off. Dozens spoke out against Ferrier Hodgson's proposal to cut Main Road at the intersection with TC Frith Drive. And build an intersection directing traffic into the new housing estate known as Bandera. The proposal would mean a major detour just to reach Bullaroo's main street. Lake Macquarie Mayor Greg Piper agrees the proposal would spell disaster for the town. He says council's solution is a second intersection at Moneybung Road. The problem with that, at this stage, there's no money.
The Roads and Traffic Authority have given advice, but they believe that one intersection will suffice. Now, that has pulled the rug out from under council.
Lauren Bladwell, NBN News.
Tim Owen says the new Liberal state government isn't wasting any time going ahead with Newcastle's new court precinct.
Tender has just gone out for project management for the law precinct here, and we're hopeful that we will have architects selected within the next month or so.
In its dying days, the Keneally government announced that this site would become home to a $94 million court complex. That government slated the project for completion in 2015, but Mr Owen says it could be much sooner.
We're trying to move as quickly as we can to get this process moving, and we're very confident that within the next 2 years we'll have this facility built.
The news couldn't have come at a better time. Just yesterday, Judge Ralph Coulihan had to move one district court case out of its allotted room and into another because of the overwhelming stench of a dead rat. It's not the first time vermin have disrupted proceedings in the ageing courthouse. Meanwhile, Mr Owen revealed his immediate plans for the city.
We're looking to meet all the commitments we made during the election, and clearly on my horizon is the $25 million we've allocated to the University of Newcastle. We'll be meeting with the University Council in very short order.
But no news about the rail line into Newcastle's future.
It's a bit early to make a decision or a call on when that will happen.
Madeline McKell, NBN News. Adam Johnson is a doting father, but until recently this single dad was in distress. When his partner left him, Mr Johnson gave up his job as a head chef to single-handedly raise 3-year-old Tyler and 5-year-old Jack. The family quickly found themselves homeless, with no welfare agencies willing to help.
For 2.5, nearly 3 years, I was getting, no, sorry, can't help you. We only help women with kids, you know. It's a sad situation out there, like when you got no one.
Then he contacted Dads in Distress. In just 4 days, the agency found the Johnsons a home.
I feel happy now that I know my boy just started school. He can actually bring friends over, and play and have somewhere to play, and I don't have to feel embarrassed.
It's a story that's all too common, but thanks to an ongoing annual grant of $40,000 from Extrata Coal, Dads in Distress now has a budget to help men find crisis accommodation.
It's going to mean many more men that we can help for more nights, and to keep men out of sleeping in their cars and sleeping in tents.
Mr Johnson says the organisation changed his life.
I'm a proud man. It's hard for me to ask for help, and for me to ask for help, it takes a piece of me. But for someone to actually listen to me, I'm so rapt.
Madeline McKell, NBN News.
We started talking about it more than 10 years ago. We're excited that we're the first council in the Hunter to be able to introduce the third bin.
These workshops were really well received yesterday, and to not be able to put those on is one thing, but to have all this equipment missing too, it's really hurt us badly.
A simple meeting to mark a milestone.
50 years of advancing the lives of people with disability. It's basically what Maywell has done.
This not-for-profit organisation was born out of need. It's been a place for those children in the Hunter Valley who didn't quite fit and whose parents couldn't bear the thought of sending them away.
We were able to keep him home by having the school here, and then later on the workshop, and then the hostel. It's all come together.
And in their own way, they're so thankful.
I'm working hard and we do this, I do run the box and that and that.
Maywell now employs 110 people with disabilities. The everyday challenges faced here are helping them nail it on the outside world.
I live in a flat by myself and sort of get myself off to work and do all that by myself.
Hear some people say, well, they won't be able to do that, or you get a parent to say, well, he doesn't do very much at home. And after 2 years, you've got some guy driving a forklift and you get the parent coming along going, well, thanks very much.
But they also work to keep the dream alive. It was only last year that enough money could be raised to build something like this, a simple place where the most vulnerable and often the most easily forgotten can be given a helping hand.
These days, it's rare to see him walk through these doors, which is why Thomas Fraser Holmes appreciates a bit of time off.
Yeah, it's good just hanging out with my old man and my friends and stuff, and just to relax and not think about swimming at all.
That can often be hard looking at his achievements. Up there with the best is last week's national titles. The 19-year-old recorded 3 personal best times, winning a silver medal and 2 golds. The most impressive swim seen here in the 200-metre freestyle. And after bringing home a gold medal from the Commonwealth Games, naturally his mind is on the London 2012 Olympics.
You always think about the Olympics, no matter where you are, whether it's 4 years out, 2 years out. But I just got to get through Worlds this year and then Olympic trials next year, and hopefully I do all right.
Until then, Holmes will go back to the Gold Coast to continue training with Grant Hackett's former coach, Dennis Cottrell. And he admits there's plenty of work to do.
I swim really well, but just my skills and my turns and stuff aren't up to scratch, which is good. Confidence is up there. I know I can improve a lot.
He'll get his chance in July at the World Titles in Shanghai. Kev Vermetum, NBN News. Ray Sheffield retired last year at the age of 40, but after dwelling on a heartbreaking semi-final exit, he's back.
One more win. I'm too competitive and just got to have that last win.
Still, the decision was tough.
Knees are pretty bad. I'm getting up there in age, but hopefully I'll be able to hold out for the season.
He'll skipper a North Stars side that has even more to prove.
Definitely. I mean, we've got a strong tradition. We've been in 7 grand finals in a row. Last year was the first year we haven't been in a grand final.
With international imports Peter Cartwright and Brian Bales returning, hopes are high, especially considering both were the league's leading scorers.
We're basically looking the strongest I think we've ever been, with guys that are coming and guys that have been here for a number of years.
Another of those returning is Newcastle's Matt Price. The defender is itching to get back on the rink.
So you guys are the team to beat?
Yeah, the North Stars, yeah. I think in the league we're always that team that everyone hates playing.
The side hosts Adelaide on Saturday at 5 p.m. Kev Vermetum, NBN News.
Mine workers and CFMEU members, all eyes and ears for Greg Combay as he discussed the government's plan to tax polluters.
About the impact of a carbon price on their industry and how the government is proposing to make sure that jobs are going to be secure.
But some unions are concerned. Only this morning, the Australian Workers' Union threatened to pull its support if just one job is lost. The CFMEU isn't taking the same approach.
I'm confident jobs won't be lost, and we're not in this to cut any jobs. We're in this to get more jobs.
We're going to do everything we can to make sure those industries or that industry remains competitive and that the jobs in that industry are supported.
Mr Combay says that will be made easier because coal companies will be able to afford the tax. 1 tonne of coking coal can cost around $300. Now, under the proposed tax, mining companies could be forced to pay around $1.50 per tonne. The CFMEU says that tax wouldn't lead to mass job losses.
If this is designed in a way that results in those sorts of costs, this industry can bear those costs, for goodness sake.
But it also means that the coal industry is still very, very competitive, very profitable, and is going to prosper in the years to come.
Tyson Cottrell, NBN News.
These are artists' impressions of the controversial project proposed for a site at Ellamore Vale. The mosque has attracted a fair amount of protest from residents, citing traffic and noise concerns. But Newcastle Council has now endorsed the $6.8 million blueprint to the Regional Planning Panel.
We're very happy with the news. We welcome the news.
However, Council has included a lengthy list of conditions, such as limiting the mosque's hours to between 7 a.m. and 9 p.m.
There's quite a lot of conditions, but we feel that they're workable.
Not everyone's quite so happy. Today, the Lord Mayor distanced himself and councillors from the recommendation.
This is a recommendation from Council's planning staff, which they're obliged to do. It's not coming from the elected council. In fact, I'm annoyed that the elected council has been cut out of this process.
John Tate is concerned Crowdis Road won't be able to cope with the extra traffic.
Unless the traffic issues are addressed in a way that is meaningful, I don't believe this could go ahead.
The Regional Planning Panel will decide the mosque's fate on the 5th of May. Madeleine McKell, NBN News. People like Ali Duncan are expected to benefit from Canteen's offspring support program. Her mother, Jewel, died from lung cancer 5 years ago.
For me, it means that I can get the right help, and I can get the right help from someone who understands what I've been through.
Watching her mother battle the disease for 3 years took a heavy psychological toll.
I'm the youngest of 3, and it was awful. It was horrible, and I felt really helpless, and it was one of the hardest things I've been through.
Canteen launched the program today. It aims to support people aged between 12 and 24 whose parents are either being treated for cancer or have succumbed to it. Offspring was created in response to findings that today's young people are 15 times more likely to have a parent diagnosed with cancer than to suffer the disease themselves.
We recognise that they are a group of young people that have some very particular needs.
What we can provide for them is either group or individual, face-to-face, online and telephone counselling. And it's about, I guess, meeting the needs for this group and providing some support.
Anyone who wants to join the program should head to Canteen's website. Madeleine McKell, NBN News.
He's already a world champion in the 49ers and the Moth class. Now Nathan Outeridge has set his sights on claiming the SB3 crown in England, a class that has traditionally been dominated by Great Britain. With experienced sailor Ian Brown already in his crew, Outeridge has now added laser world champion Tom Slingsby.
Ian and I have done a bit of sailing in the SB3s, and when we sort of were stuck for looking for a crew, I gave Tom a call and he sounded sort of half interested, and I sort of twisted his arm into doing it.
Fellow Aussie challenger Glenn Burke has competed in the America's Cup and won world championships in 7 different types of boats. The SB3s represent something new following several years on dry land.
I'm a little bit rusty in terms of how I've been in the past, but hopefully I'll remember most of the tricks.
Like most other sports, Burke believes the British are about to be outdone at their own game.
between Nathan and ourselves, we'll be at the front of the fleet somewhere, I would hope, and I think we can knock them off. We'd like to get one back for the Ashes, really, wouldn't we?
Both crews are part of a small fleet competing in the National Championships at Port Stephens this weekend. In today's first race, Outeridge made a great start, and despite a challenge from Burke, he cruised to an easy victory. In the second race, Burke reversed the result, the event clearly providing the perfect practice for a shot at the world title. The Nationals continue until Sunday.
Things aren't getting any easier for Knights coach Rick Stone. With Isaac de Gois out injured, Matt Hilder will play another game at hooker.
Just like to sort of create a bit more out of there this week and try and get the boys on the front foot a bit more.
That would put Rick Stone's mind at ease as he weighs up his future at the club.
I'll have a chat to Wayne, mate, first and foremost, to discuss the role and what it may entail, and then, possibly have a look around and see what other things might be on offer.
Until then, he wants to bring down the Sharks forward pack. Con Mika has earned a recall to first grade, while Mark Tafua returns from 2 separate injuries. In Newcastle Rugby League, South are boasting several big signings, including former Player of the Year, Nathan Hinton.
Yeah, he's going to be really good. He brings a lot of experience. He can play a number of positions.
New coach Matt Shipway is ready to move on from 2010, when the club only secured 3 wins.
There's a longer-term plan involved with gradually strengthening the side over the next couple of years.
And former Knights assistant Craig Miller has returned to the game to coach Western Suburbs.
The timing was right. I've always had that in my blood, I suppose. So an approach from Wes said the right things.
The Rosellas will host Cessnock this weekend, while Curry, Maitland, Northern and Macquarie share the other home games. Kevin Messam, NBN News. He actually calls Michigan home, but you can't keep Marcus van der Heide away from Newcastle. After all, the towering forward has a point to prove.
Fell a little short last year, coming to the grand finals, which would have been beautiful getting it back here. And so we definitely have some unfinished business.
Further strengthening the Hunters' ranks is his former teammate and fellow American, Ryan Klein.
Play some defense and just get victories. That's the number one thing. I come over here and have fun again to play this game. I miss it so much, so it's going to be great to get back out there.
The pair couldn't be reacquainted at a better time. After defeating North Sydney at the weekend, Newcastle has a chance to grab top spot on the ladder. And there's plenty of other reasons why the Sydney Comets clash on Saturday is crucial.
Hunters reunion night is our biggest night of the year. Last year we had just over 1,200, which is great.
It's a healthy look as the local basketball community looks to rejoin the NBL.
If I was a betting man, I'd say it's very good. Look, all the indications from Basketball Australia is they understand the work the Tinkler Group are doing up here for the Team Newcastle concept, and basketball's always been on their agenda.
Kevin Messam, NBN News.
The final touches are being applied to the Kensington nightclub after a $4 million fit-out, 2 failed liquor licence applications and some community opposition. Tonight is very much make or break.
All of our staff are adequately prepared. The venue is an immaculate, beautiful venue, so we believe wholeheartedly in this project, and we feel confident that tonight will go off without a hitch.
But the club will trade as an entertainment venue after obtaining a catering licence, and that's got the Police Association seeing red. It says the owners are exploiting a loophole in the system and are only out to make a profit. But the club says its lawyers have ensured all is above board.
Everything is compliant, and we'll do our best from our point to make sure that we comply fully with all council and all police regulations.
And management isn't taking any chances.
We have plenty of security. I have 2 RSA marshals on both levels. I have over 10 security guards monitoring the venue, and then I have 2 security guards doing constant 15-minute laps of the block, ensuring that there's no drunk or disorderly behaviour.
The club will trade from 9 p.m. until midnight tonight. Tyson Cottrell, NBN News. The Hunter Valley wine and tourism industries rake in a whopping $250 million each year. Now Cessnock Council is considering withdrawing its financial support from a key promotional body.
$266,000 a year, and that funding predominantly contributes to the running and operational costs of our Visitor Information Centre.
Hunter Valley Wine Country Tourism Executive Officer Dean Goddard says that could have serious consequences.
Potentially, it could have an effect on local jobs.
But the council says it hasn't considered funding for external organisations in its preliminary budget. And if it does consider withdrawing funding, there will be extensive consultation with those affected. Tyson Cottrell, NBN News.
Chad Reed admits he hasn't had the best of luck on the Seattle track during his sparkling career, but surely he deserves some following this incident in St. Louis last weekend. Having battled for second for most of the race, the 2-time world champion ended up in 4th, dropping back 1 spot in the race for the title. No matter where he finishes, Reed has won over even more supporters this year after creating his own team. Still overseas, and fellow Hunter rider Brock Parks is back in action tomorrow at the World Supersport Round in Holland. Currently second in the standings after events at Phillip Island and Donington Park in the UK, Parks is 6th fastest following opening qualifying.
This is what Blackbutt staff found on Monday morning, $5,000 worth of damage and their beloved pythons, Jewel and Barney, missing. It's the third time pythons have been stolen in 6 years, and Newcastle Mayor John Tate has had enough. After all, it's the ratepayers who ultimately pay.
It is a low act, but I'd appeal to their better senses of responsibility, and please bring them back. And if they find it difficult to work out how they might do that, they simply ring my office.
Today, many visitors were shocked.
I think it's really sad and that someone could do that to a community resource.
It's a sad reflection of our society, isn't it, when people have to steal those things.
Well, it's very disappointing. So much effort's been made to make this place lovely for everyone who comes.
The last time a python was stolen, the offender eventually returned it. Staff hope this thief also has a conscience, but they're not holding their breath.
We're in the pursuit of some more so the public don't miss out, but yeah, naturally that's got to come out of my operational budget, so it's an unfortunate thing to I guess, the public are the ones that lose out.
Kevin Messam, NBN News.
The night's long injury list saw Steve Southern and Tyrone Roberts handed their debuts. The home side was feeling a little hard done by, denied an early try. Jared Mullen's kicking game was a key part of the night's win, but this run helped to swing the momentum and set up a try for James McManus. Newcastle's defence was beginning to tire, but Wes Nagama provided a lift with a special welcome home for Cade Snowden. Southern ended the game on report for this hit as the Knights hung on to the points. In the real NRL, the Goannas enjoyed the early possession against Wests and they turned it into points thanks to Joby Patton. On the next set, hooker Darcy Ettrich sold a dummy and sprinted 50 metres, but seemed to bomb a try with Sam Wooden in support. The Rosellas took a while to warm up before an Adrian Davis kick found David Pangy out wide. The ball was now bouncing for the home side as Steve Gordon snatched a second for Wests. They went into the break in front 14-4 when skipper Jermaine Ale took advantage of some sloppy work at the back.
The quiet town of Bulahdelah, home to just on 1,000 people and a popular stop-off destination for travellers. But many locals fear the sleepy town won't wake up when a new McDonald's restaurant is built on the $315 million Bulahdelah bypass.
It's a little bit sad. I feel a little bit sad that because a lot of the town people don't want it either.
No. I don't think Bulahdelah should have the McDonald's.
I think in the long run it'll be good for the town. The economic spin-off in terms of wages, it will attract some people to the town.
Some fear travellers will literally bypass the picturesque town. As you can see, construction of the new bypass is well underway. It's expected to be completed late next year and the new McDonald's will open shortly after. Only then will its full impact on the town of Bulahdelah be known. However big or little that is, many say the town will survive.
I'm optimistic about the town's future.
Look at Taree. I mean, gosh, everybody said that when the bypass, when the highway, went from through the main street, and look at it now.
Tyson Cottrell, NBN News.
Enjoying the fruits or snags of their labour, these students have changed the direction of their lives. They've just graduated from a Kickstart pre-apprenticeship program through Hunter TAFE, learning to become butchers. Today, 7 of them were offered apprenticeships with Woolworths. Some have already started.
I was always looking for a way out every day, something different, something I knew I would enjoy. I went up to my store manager and I said, I needed this, I really wanted it, and yeah, he's put me on.
2 weeks of the 10-week course is spent learning on the job at the supermarket giant.
Tradespeople are far and few between, so it's great to be able to have these people coming up through our company so that in 4 years' time we've got a fully qualified butcher.
The result has been that we've got new young people in this industry now that are able to take up available apprenticeships in a skills shortage area.
Kate Mitchell, NBN News.
Remember this shy little boy? Well, just look at him now. Self-assured, engaging and funny, Safari Kamanzi took centre stage today at a function hosted by the Bel Air View Club, telling his incredible story. From 4-year-old Burns victim to 17-year-old school student and soccer star in the making.
My dream, this is what I've been wanting all my life, just to be in this country, just go to school here and enjoy my life.
Supported by his adopted Aussie parents, Frank and Janet Skaysbrook, Safari has undergone 17 operations to repair his burned body. It's been a remarkable journey.
And even, Safari's name, Safari, is not a common Kenyan name. And of course it means a journey, and it's the correct name.
Safari has been back and forth between Australia and Kenya over a decade, but is now here on a 4-year scholarship at St Philip's Christian College in Gosford.
I just thank the school so much for giving me this opportunity to be here. It's such a good school. I'm working pretty hard to succeed in life.
I'm extremely proud of him. He's come a long, long way in so many areas.
Safari hopes to eventually return to Africa.
Just want to, when I finish school, just get a good job and earn money and help my family back at home in Kenya.
Following 3 straight losses, the Sharks at home was pencilled in as a must-win game for the Knights. In the wake of the Tinkler Group takeover and news of Wayne Bennett's decision to join the club, the coach and players were happy to get back to talking about this season.
I suppose it's nice to sit here and not have to answer the same boring question of is it a distraction about a new coach coming.
The Knights now have a week to prepare for a trip to Canberra and will be boosted by the return of Corey Patterson. Steve Southern has taken an early guilty plea for a dangerous throw in yesterday's game and is also free to play against the Raiders. The main concern for Rick Stone was another lopsided penalty count.
We've got to keep looking at it for sure. It's an ongoing issue that we're not getting the results there, so we're going to have to work with our own players and work with the referees' boss.
Defence is also likely to be on the agenda following the Sharks' resurgent second half.
We could have defended a little bit better, particularly over the ball. There was too many offloads involved and they scored some soft tries that we need to address, but the final result was the most important thing on the weekend.
Brock Parks started and finished in third, but his journey was filled with drama. On lap 5, the Australian made a move before the Dutch track claimed its first victim. England's Sam Lowe's the first to bite the dust. He certainly wouldn't be the last. Following a long delay, the remainder of the field returned. Parks kept his cool, but it wasn't long before the carnage continued, as this rider demonstrated the value of a helmet. The second restart was a disaster for Parks as he fell back to 13th. But the Aussie soon caught a break as series leader Lucas Scasser made an uncharacteristic mistake. Sensing an opportunity, Brock wound his way through the field and eventually earned his place on the podium. At the American Supercross Series, Curry's Chad Reed also grabbed third, but the result could have been better after he crashed with 2 laps to go.
The bike got me, but it could have got me a hell of a lot worse. So bummed that I missed second because, we are in a points game and, I gave up 2 points. But I'm thankful to fight for fight for a podium and end up there.
Sunday's game saw just under 13,000 fans turn up to watch the Knights play the Sharks. If the Tinkler Sports Group has its way, that number will more than double.
At present, the ticketed members for the Knights is less than 1% of the Hunter region. So if we can get that to 5%, there won't be enough seats in the stadium.
New cut-price tickets for families went on sale this afternoon, offering 10-game packages in reserve seating for $240. Tonight, a new campaign will target 10,000 new members. South Sydney currently has the highest membership base. The Knights are aiming to be number 1.
We stole their coach, so we may as well steal their title as the biggest membership base.
The players and staff know a huge supporter base can never be underestimated.
You're not a true fan unless you become a supporter of the club. Targeting 10,000, it's a lot of members, but I think we can do it.
Look, with these sort of prices and these sort of bargains, there's no doubt that we should be the best supported membership in the league.
Late this afternoon, the campaign was off to a strong start with more than 700 new members already on board. Mitchell Hughes, NBN News.
On any given weekday, the CBD of Raymond Terrace isn't exactly bustling with activity, but that could soon change. A $100 million retail development is being proposed over the town's former sporting fields.
Taking the Raymond Terrace CBD to the next level basically will potentially increase the economic activity within the whole CBD.
It is a significant development, not only for Raymond Terrace but for the region. It's unusual to have such a large parcel of commercial land that we can basically start planning.
That parcel adds up to 35,000 square metres, a third of which is available to residential developers. There's also good news for bookworms with a new library planned as well as a town square. However, there's no room for this fire station, so too the skate park, which will be relocated.
The master plan is just a guiding framework, and we're sort of leaving that up to the developers to provide us with some innovative and interesting designs, I guess.
Also on the agenda at tonight's meeting, a new McDonald's restaurant. If approved, the Lavis Lane project would be Port Stephens' fourth franchise. Kevin Metham, NBN News.
You can't miss them. Bright green buses every 20 minutes on a loop of Newcastle and Hamilton. Patronage figures reveal a daily average of 180 people, dropping to a minimum of just 131.
I haven't seen many have used them at present.
But most still welcome the $500,000 service.
Yeah, it is handy for me.
It's a good idea. Probably bring more people into Newcastle.
The hours of operation are between 9 a.m. and 2:45 p.m, making it impractical for commuters.
I think it should be started before 9 o'clock so that the people that are working early can get a free bus.
Meanwhile, it's hoped parking woes at the university will be alleviated next year, with a DA lodged with council for 3 car park expansions. They include an additional 170 spaces for car park 1 near the Great Hall, plus 484 spots in 2 separate car parks opposite Ray Watt Oval. With muscles a 20-year-old would be proud of, Alan Metcalf is a remarkably fit 62-year-old. After conquering the sports of boxing, cycling and surf lifesaving, a world record is now in his sights, taking on the ocean and all its elements with his trusty old surf rescue board.
It's a world first, no one has ever attempted it. And I thought, well, how can I grab the public's attention to raise awareness of cystic fibrosis? So I thought, it's a stupid idea, it's a silly idea, but you know, hey, it might just work.
After 8 months of training around Newcastle Harbour and along the coastline, rain, hail or shine, tomorrow he'll launch his board from the Opera House, beginning a 137-kilometre journey to Newcastle, all to raise money for Newcastle Surf Lifesaving Club and another cause close to his heart.
After watching a program on TV and having a lung infection myself, I felt so much pity for those who are born with cystic fibrosis, because it's a never-ending story.
Covering 30 kilometres each day with nightly rest stops at surf clubs, he expects the paddle will take 6 days.
I'm really excited, to be honest, but, you know, I've realised in training that I'm going to be in pain. It's going to be extremely hard.
Thankfully, the conditions are looking perfect. Jane Goldsmith, NBN News.
For the first time in weeks, coach Rick Stone is spoilt for choice when it comes to his top 17 for the clash with Canberra. Marvin Caruana is just one player returning to the mix.
We've got to make a few decisions around Bluey Southern and probably Mark Tafua. Corey Patterson comes back into the team, and I think he played particularly well against Brisbane and probably deserves his place back there.
The trip to the nation's capital has rarely been a happy one for the Knights, but the coach believes their off-season preparations have the players focused on the task at hand.
Canberra at home is a tough ask, and for us, traditionally it has been tough. But I'd like to think that we need to go down with a positive frame of mind.
Tyrone Roberts gets another chance to impress this week after filling the utility role against the Sharks.
Yeah, I was happy with what he did. Obviously gives us a bit of flexibility around hooker and still gives us a bit of attacking strike.
Roberts is one of several young players who believe in the strong team philosophy Rick Stone has instilled at the club.
I just turned up training and just wherever Stoney needed me, I was just happy to play a role.
I'm happy wherever Stoney wants to put me. I'll do whatever's best for the team.
Barry O'Farrell, Duncan Gay and the new Hunter Liberal team keen to spruik what was a Labor project.
Today I'm here having done nothing to this.
Work has now started on the 27-kilometre western section of the Hunter Expressway from Curry to Branxton.
This will make a massive difference to people's lives. In towns like Greta and Maitland and Rutherford, it will really make a difference on a day-to-day basis.
When complete by the end of 2013, the expressway is expected to reduce travel time between Singleton and Wallsend by half an hour. But it won't come cheap, $1.45 billion in total.
40 kilometres of expressway, 53 bridges, a massive works is required, particularly to take into account environmental sensitivity. There'll be long bridge spans on this project.
Mr O'Farrell is promising to work with the federal government to push for more big-ticket Hunter infrastructure projects.
I know, for instance, that the connector roads between Maitland and the new expressway all are problematic, all are going to be supporting considerable growth over the next 25 years.
Kate Mitchell, NBN News.
Meet Kristen Perry and her problematic Porsche plates.
Kristen, tell me about your number plate. It's causing a bit of a stir.
Well, it was my nickname, Kiki, and it still is my nickname, Kiki. I've had it for a long time, in fact, since I was born, but it's come into a bit of a disrepute.
Yesterday, Ms Perry received a letter from the RTA threatening to confiscate the plates following a single complaint claiming the word Kiki is offensive in a particular Filipino dialect.
Apparently means private woman's part of the body, as in vagina.
Ms Perry got the plates 6 years ago as a gift from her husband and had to draft a legal letter arguing her case.
To actually get this letter was so shocking. First I thought it was hilarious, then I thought, hang on, I could lose my number plates here.
And her plates weren't all she stood to lose.
Now, of course, your number plate isn't the only thing you've got that's a Kiki, is it? Have you?
Actually, no. My shoes are called Kiki by my favourite shoe designer, Hetty Rose. And yes, so they're probably offensive as well.
Late this afternoon, the RTA had a change of heart and issued a statement saying that after investigating the matter and applying some common sense, they'd decided to let Kiki keep her Kiki. After a hectic 48 hours, that was some good news.
Thankfully, I'll be able to keep my plates. Fingers crossed.
Madeline McKell, NBN News.
Another day, another big announcement from the Newcastle Knights. Captain Kurt Gidley signing on until the end of 2015.
It's been great to grow up as a young boy in Newcastle and coming from West Newcastle and playing through the Knights juniors right up till now. It's a very happy day and for myself and my family.
And family ties played a big part in Kurt's decision. Gidley shared the field with big brother Matt back in 2001 before his move to England, and the pair has been reunited at the club this year.
It's great for the new management to make sure they sort of tie up a bloke like Kurt. I think that's a massive positive step, and I think all the boys are really happy.
The Nathan Tinkler takeover and next year's arrival of Supercoach Wayne Bennett have the State of Origin rep and Kangaroo eyeing off one more prize.
There's players who have played their whole career and haven't played in a grand final, so that's the last thing that keeps me driving, and another 4 years hopefully I'll have one under my belt.
At 29, Gidley will be 33 when this contract runs out and more than likely staring at retirement. In a rarity in the NRL these days, it will be a career played in the same colours.
I think it'll be something I'll look back on in years to come and be very proud of.
Blake Doyle, NBN News.